I initially got into it when I was 14 to this sports at school, broke my school record, and it was nice because I think our school had 7,000 pupils, and kind of got all 7,000 of them clapped in one way, and I was like, oh, I like this part, like it's different to what I was used to playing a team sport in rugby. And then to be fair, it wasn't until I left school at 18 that I kind of decided I've got some talent, let me kind of pursue it a little bit further, take it seriously, and that's when I that kind of caught up to him because he actually went to my school. So I've known him since I was probably 13, 12, 13. And then when I left school and I knew he was kind of becoming a coach, starting out coaching, so I'm going on a gap year this year. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, how much fun has it been doing the long jump?
Yeah, it's been great. Like I'm quite fortunate. I mean, my first year, like, when I left school at 18, that was my last year as a junior, so under 20. I actually ended up being #1 in the country in my first year. So it's like I kind of come into it and been kind of shot straight into success. And obviously, everyone enjoys success and everything. Kind of things were going really, really well quite swiftly. But then, unfortunately, the following year, I got a stress fracture in my back. So it's taken a bit of time to get over because those types of injuries they take a little bit of time to kind of let your body heal and then kind of get back to where you were before. So even though you know I was initially very successful and now I've had a little bit of a lull, I still really enjoy it. Like I don't think I could dedicate myself to training 6 days a week and getting up at 6 in the morning like 3-4 times a week if I didn't enjoy what I did. So I really enjoy it, especially in this group. Like, this group of boys that kind of got together now.
And as a long jumper, is it tricky at all with the training, considering they're pretty much, like you said, sprinters?
Yeah. Like initially, I think because we've only just come together as a group starting October. I've been joining this for almost 4 years now, and I think with them because they are faster, they are faster than me. At first, it was almost as if every time we had a session, it was like a race day for me because I had to run 100% for them, for their 90%. But it's pushed me, and as a result, in terms of training and running quick, I've run probably half a second faster over 100 comparatively over 60 than I had done previously about 6-7 months ago. So it was difficult at first, but I've got 2 great coaches, in both Jonas Dogan and Julie Holman, who does my technical jumping. So it's tricky at first, but we've worked it out. And hopefully, with its benefits come the summer.
Yeah. And how tricky can work, uni, and training all in one come?
Sometimes I think just before we went out to Tenerife for a bit of all weather training, I think I spent 3-4 weeks working Monday to Saturday, and my shifts are always in the evening, so I work kind of a 4 to 8 shift. So I get up sometimes at 6:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't get home to my house until 9, and then I have to eat dinner. And obviously that's let dinner settle, and then I'll be probably in bed 11 o'clock, 11:30, knackered, and know I've got to do it again the next day. It's tricky, but I kind of think that without having those times where you have to work really hard to get through something, you're never going to really appreciate when it's going to be a little bit easier when you get to success. That hopefully, as I said, it will be in the future. But I fit it in somehow.
And what about like social life, still being quite young? Is that kind of on the back burner?
Yeah, to a degree, of course. But it's actually quite strange because I think, like I said, my first year in athletics was my gap year, and then I went to uni, and because I'd had so much success from not going out, and in my gap year I actually worked full time in a nursery for 6 months, and I still trained in the evenings, and then spent 6 months training full time, and I didn't really have much of a social life at the time because I was working and training. So when I went to uni, I kind of had that same attitude. So I mean, you imagine a lot of first years spend most of the time going out drinking and stuff. I think I went out 3 times the entire year. So I had that was my philosophy at the time. But then when I got injured, and I kind of realised that it's okay to enjoy both, obviously in moderation. So I mean, obviously it's definitely on the back burner. I don't go out a lot. I don't have time to go out a lot. But I do think there is room for it. At least once a month or so. I think it's really essential as well.
Definitely. And yourself, like you said, used to play rugby for London Irish. When did it come to a point where you thought, I don't think I can do the rugby anymore, let me continue to play?
Yeah, I think because I played rugby at school. I was a scholar for rugby at school, and I played rugby on Sundays. I think when we were 16, I think the way rugby works is you have the first England trials at 16. I think when a couple of boys got into the England team that I used to play with and everything, And I spoke to a few of the kind of the scouts in the academy guys when I was Irish, and they said that even though I had good technical ability and I was talented, I just wasn't really going to be big enough. I mean, I think I'm 6'7" now. I don't know if you can tell, I'm sitting now. I'm 6'7" now, and I only now even weigh about 86 kilograms. I've been 6'4" plus since I was 14, and if you imagine then, what, 7 years ago, I would have weighed probably about 72 kilograms. So for someone that tall to be that light, I'd have had to put on a lot of weight, and I just knew it wasn't really going to happen. So no, I think when I was 16, even though I continued playing at school for 2 more years, that's when I kind of knew, even though I've got talent for sport, maybe rugby was the one that I was going to pursue.
Yeah. And with the long jump, who are some of the guys in the sport that you look up to?
Oddly enough, I think the first kind of memories I have of watching athletics, I think it was the 2005 European Championships. It was Greg Rutherford. He was, I don't know how old he was then, probably about 20. I remember watching him and watching him get a silver medal at the European Championships. And then when I started training in 2009, 2010, he just come over. He would come over to train in the same centre with me. The guy called Dan Pass, who was my coach, and mentor. And then the following year, I ended up training with him, which I find it really bizarre, because he's kind of an influence in getting me involved in sport. And then fast forward a few years, I was wishing him good luck, like for the Olympics, and then he went on one. So, but he's definitely someone. And I think another one who I always remembered watching Peter Stowe, even though he's not a long jumper, I think I've always looked up to him. And I know he played rugby and he played basketball when he was younger as well. So we've got quite a similar build. I think. So those are probably the two that I've picked up from athletics that I've always kind of been aware of and looked up to growing up.
And what did you make of London 2012, the whole experience?
I think it was amazing. I unfortunately didn't get to go and watch any of the athletics. I watched some of the basketball, and I actually did a bit of work as a steward at some of the events. And I think that's the atmosphere, the way it brought people together from all different backgrounds. I think last summer, obviously was the Jubilee that we had, the Queen's Jubilee.
Yeah.
And obviously the Olympics, well, I think it brought London together, the massive community, and then I think wider the UK as a whole kind of brought us together. I think it's been great. I just hope that it can continue to inspire my generation, which I hope it will do, and then generations that kind of come after.
And what career goals have you set for yourself in the immediate future and in the distant future?
Athletics-wise or just in general? Athletics-wise, yeah. I mean, I think this year the aim obviously is to compete at the European Under 20 Championships, which are in Tampere in Finland, I think, in July. Obviously I've got to qualify for that, so that's the goal for this year. But then looking a little bit more into the future, I think if I'm able to maybe compete at a World Championship, either 2015 or 2017, which is one in London, and obviously Olympic in Rio 2016, and then beyond that, I'd be happy. I mean, I think if I set a goal of being a multiple World Championship and Olympic finalist, and then if you're in a final, you never know what can happen. Come away with any kind of medal. So that's kind of my ambition. But yeah, definitely competing and doing quite well this summer, European and 20 Championships, and going forward.
And for anyone who hasn't seen you compete, what can they expect to see?
Somebody who is very, very tall, very, very long limbs, but can move surprisingly quickly in one way. And obviously, like you mentioned before, I do train with sprinters, so and I can actually beat a few of them over 30 meters, and my runway is about 30 meters, so I'm pretty nippy. And yeah, that's what you can. And at the end of it, you hope to see, or hopefully you'll see a little or a massive long leap into Pakistan.
Definitely. Yeah, Jermaine, thanks so much for the time, man.